tire it doesn't say to me that this situation is going to get resolved. So the way we went about it separately was the issue. We went about it separately. It was just off, So it was inevitable that it was going to end.
So I'm trying to keep on timeline. So in 2010, you have death pretty much hit your life.
Yeah.
Then for the next 2 or 3 years, you're going through the relationship with your first, the woman, and so then y'all start having problems. Mm-hmm. Then those problems that dang, communication is off.
It's off. Like really, there was no communication. Just to be transparent or whatever, and that was frustrating. And so, to my fault, I chose to go outside of my home. To get what I was lacking inside my home.
Mm-hmm. TD Jakes. He said a lot of men suffer in silence,
bruh.
I'm talking about suffer.
Suffering.
They don't talk about it. They don't say anything about it. When every time you ask them, are they okay? They're gonna say I'm fine. It's because they got a whole nother level of suffering going on, and men could be suffering in the same house and look happy, and then one day it's like
that just be it. I guess in my situation, it was the complete opposite. Like the roles were reversed. Like I was the one talking, asking, like really begging, like, "Hey, we can fix this. I just need you to open up and talk to me. That's it."
So the woman was suffering in silence.
She was suffering. So, and that's why I say she had something going on her side of the table.
I see.
I wasn't privy. I wasn't privy to that information because there was no communication. So
you would have communicated. I know you said this again, but I'm putting two and two. I'm like, you was a talker.
Yeah, I was the communicator. I was the communicator. Man, for real. Like, did I? Hey, look. When you've been doing dirt and your home ain't right, you got to fact check yourself. Like, did I slip up? Did I say something? Did I call her the wrong name? Did I text the wrong person? Like, you got to, like, damn, did I fuck up, man?
Yeah, you be thinking, yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't me. Because honestly, up until that point, I was faithful. I wasn't out here doing city boy stuff.
You could. That was a shot. The shot to the city girls. That was a shot.
So, I decided to go outside my relationship, and I met a young lady freaking via Twitter. I was at work one night, and...
So you was tweeting back then? 2014?
Yeah, well, it was 2012.
You were tweeting, you was Twitter fingers.
Yeah, I had Twitter fingers. Yeah. And you know what? I was on Twitter today, bro, and I was like, bro, I don't even know why I have this app. Like, I don't...
You don't really do Twitter.
I don't tweet, bro. I'm not a tweeter anymore.
I'm not a Twitter person either.
No.
You catch me on Facebook,
Instagram,
catch me on
Facebook.
YouTube, but I don't know what Twitter. For real. It's just something. It's off.
It's a different medium.
It is.
But
you're a writer though.
And that's the thing. Like I love writing, but I don't know. Like it just maybe I just got to find my groove again. Because I used to tweet. I was a tweeter, bro. Like clearly Anyway, so I was at work and I was tweeting or whatever and ran across a profile or whatever. I was like, and just hit up. No intentions on this relationship becoming like anything but platonic, because I just wanted to communicate because that's not what I was getting in my relationship. That's what I needed. So that's what I was seeking. So that's what we did. We communicated, she was a cool person, yada, yada, whoop-de-whoop. And so my fatal flaw was, hey, let's link up. All right, fine. Now, subconsciously, I knew who I was to a certain degree. Like, I know.
Well, let's link up me.
Right. I know what was let's link up or whatever. So we linked up. Nothing happened, We just had, some cool conversation or whatever. We did some drugs. I did some drugs. Weed. I'm not gonna say like I was smoking crack or nothing. That's really what people be thinking about. You was doing drugs. I was smoking weed. That's all. Gotcha. But yeah. So we was just enjoying each other's company. So fast forward a couple months, that relationship that I had with the second girl off of Twitter start to grow. Because when you communicate like that, you start to become vulnerable, and once you become vulnerable. I mean, anything is possible.
Absolutely.
You know, you start sharing different things, and so you know that bond becomes strengthened. So that relationship grew, and so conversely, the relationship with who was my girlfriend at the time, it started weakening, even more so. And so now, it was a time, excuse me,
Need some water,
where we were just roommates. I probably do.
Okay.
We was just roommates. So I just come in. I know you're not talking, so I'm not even gonna ask you. So at this point, I've given up. Like I'm pretty much done with the situation. You say you don't want to talk about it. Cool. I'm really only here because our lease is not up for another 6 months.
And then after the lease is up, you
hey, listen, I got to go because I can't be in an unhappy situation. It was too toxic, you know. So that's what I did. That following April of 2013, I moved out. We were living in my mill. I moved out. I moved back with my parents or whatever, and then a couple months later, I moved in with the girl. We got our own apartment with the girl that I met on Twitter, who's now freaking my middle daughter's mama. So what I didn't know, though, or what I didn't plan for, is that I still love my first girlfriend. You know? So it wasn't like...
But so you know some people gonna say this. I'm gonna play.
Yeah.
So I ain't gonna say devil. I'm gonna play devil because people say devil.
This is devil's advocate.
No, people,
I don't play Satan.
No, I'm just gonna play devil.
Yeah.
It's not the advocate.
Yeah.
How can you be in love with two people?
Of course, I definitely was. And I'm glad you asked that, guy. So when I realized that I loved two different women at the same time, it made me ask the question, like, why am I fighting for monogamy? If I have the capacity to love two people, why am I shortchanging myself for one? Now, true enough, I know a lot of y'all saying, Josh, you just a motherfucking black. You just wanted to have your cake and eat it too. Hey, you can look at it like that.
But it was what it was.
It was what it was. Like, everything in decency and order, and I have no issues with polygamy or polyandry or however you want to sit your situation, frame your situation. But how I went about it was unrighteous. It wasn't done,
Gotcha.
In alignment.
Understood.
So my second relationship, it was doomed to fail because it was
already set up. It was already set up like that.
So we went through our things. Later that summer, we broke up or whatever. But we still maintained our the sexual facet of the relationship. So hence, now she's, the mother of my daughter or my middle daughter. So now this is 2014. I'm living in Otter Creek. I'm staying by myself. So this is definitely a bachelor pad.
That's all it is.
All it is. Like, it's not even...
I
don't use it for shit else, but sleep, eat, sex. That's it. That's it. And so I only stayed out there for like 6 months, and in that 6 month time period, I made all my kids. So I say all because I got 3, but they were all made in the 6 month period.
So your son,
so my son and my 2 daughters. One was born in August 22nd. My middle daughter, she was born in November 26th. And my boy was born January 1st.
So almost in the same year.
Bruh.
I mean, you was one day away.
I mean, in 6 months, bruh. Like, they was all made. So, yeah.
Man, this might be a messed up question.
I've heard them all before, bro.
Well, so do you think that was you letting out that pain from 2010 or like what? Like, what do you think that was?
That was me coping with it. And it was a multitude of things because the way I was brought up, I wanted that family. I wanted that cohesive.
At what cost?
Family dynamic. Watch this. So, I love him. So, I wanted that family dynamic. My relationship with my son's mom, it hurt me. Like, that was a failure to me. Because all I've seen all my life, for a good portion of my life, was mom, dad, same house, we making it work, yada yada, whoop de whoop. Yeah, we're gonna argue. Yeah, so that's what I saw. So that's what you want
to emulate.
That's what I wanted to emulate. So I took that as a failure. So that was a knock on me. Plus, all of the, the pain from the deaths that I experienced, a couple years, prior, I still had that weight on my shoulders. The second relationship, that was also another failure. And plus the fact that I love both of these women. And so I think all of that coming together, I think, like I said, I had slipped into a depressed state. Mm-hmm. And that's that, sex and the drugs, those dopamine hits is how I was trying to cope. It's a powerful drug, bro.
Powerful.
It's a powerful drug.
It's probably one of the most powerful.
I'll say I'll take that step, because when you think about it, any other kind of any other kind of method or drug or substance or whatever. It could be food. It could be, you could be addicted to water, But all of those things are just the ends to the dopamine. Mm. Because if you didn't have the dopamine, you wouldn't do it.
Yeah, because that's that chemical.
If sex wasn't enjoyable, I promise I wouldn't have sex. I promise you. I promise you, if I didn't enjoy the act and the feel of smoking
and
weed,
then the hit, right, they're right there.
If I didn't enjoy smoking weed, I wouldn't smoke weed.
So it's the dopamine. It's the dopamine. You think is the most powerful part.
And so it's just the mediums of how I chose, to get those dopamine hits were toxic, and that's just what it is. And I mean, that's just how I was trying to cope. So.
So after 2000, after you coping and
mm-hmm.
after you figuring out, after you having your children,
yeah.
At what point did you say, like, this is enough? Like, I'm tired of all this. Like, yeah. What did you have, like, a rock bottom? You know how people say, I had a rock bottom. I remember the day, the time.
I did have a rock bottom. Okay, so at the end of that 6 months, it only lasted 6 months because of this. So when I say sex, lies, videotapes, those were the only things that I was concerned with. Fuck my interpersonal relationships, fuck a job, like all of that, secondary. Really, not even priorities. Mm-hmm. Because I'm addicted to these dopamine hits. I need my sex, I need my drugs, I need, the social interactions to make me feel good, get my mind off of the pain, the failures, all of those things.
I have a theory
mm-hmm.
about the male ego.
Yeah. Oh man, let's talk about the ego.
So
come on.
This is my theory about the male ego.
You talk about egotistical.
Yeah. But I feel like it comes from a lack of confidence as it relates to that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, and this is, I can speak for Kevin too, but just the male ego in general. I feel like men circulate and they feed their egos through 3 or 4 different avenues.
Mm-hmm.
Number one is how many women? How many women? What's my count?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
What's my count? Yep.
Number 2 is money.
How much money I make?
It's like, what's my count with that too?
Mm-hmm.
How much money can I make? Mm-hmm. How much money do I make?
Right.
3 is education.
How many degrees do I have? Or man, like yeah.
Like it's those 3 things, and so if those 3 things are being look, some the people that's listening and watching, I want you all to because I observed this,
mm-hmm.
Over some years. I observed this for like 4 or 5 years, and I observed it myself.
Yeah.
For like a part of my life too. I feel like if you look at those 3 things, if you see like anything that has that and they tie it to that,
mm-hmm.
that's what hurts them the most.
Yeah.
When it's gone,
mm-hmm.
when it's taken away.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. The 4th one, your house.
Go back to money. You know what I'm saying? When we say your house, what do you mean? Explain your house.
I mean, I'll say this: I could be making $4,000 or $5,000 a month, but have a 700 square foot apartment.
Yeah,
that's cool, I guess. Or I could have a 4-bedroom home.
Okay, so let me.
True enough. So my income is the same.
I'm coupling money and resources. I'm coupling.
Oh, you're saying those two?
I should have been more. I'm talking about like those 2 in that avenue.
I can see that. Okay,
that's like
It's just like
the appearance of money. It's the appearance of money.
Okay.
Because some people that got it, they don't even show it.
They don't even show it. Exactly. Exactly. Mark Zuckerberg.
So I think I'm talking about like the appearance of money and what the perceived wealth.
The perceived wealth is
that comes with that. So I'm gonna buy every chain I can buy. I'm gonna buy every car I can buy. Look, and I want to say this: there's nothing wrong with having nice things, but it's how you get them, and how you can keep them. But again, if you're using that to feed your ego, mm-hmm. once that's taken away, then you like, dang, I lost the money. You see a lot of men commit suicide because one of those things are taken away.
Taken away. If
it's all three.